Welcome back to StoryOrbitEN. Let me ask you something that might hurt your soul a little. Have you ever tried telling a joke in English and nobody laughed? Not because the joke was bad, but because the English was, let's say, confused.
Oh, that has happened to me so many times. I once told a joke at a dinner table, and after I delivered the punchline, people just stared at me like I had suddenly grown an extra eyebrow.
An extra eyebrow?
They were seriously confused. And then one guy said, "Wait, was that the end of the joke?" And I just wanted to disappear.
Today, we're saving our listeners from that exact pain because today's episode is all about learning English with jokes, how to understand them, how to deliver them, and how not to traumatize your audience.
The dream. Avoid public humiliation while learning English. StoryOrbitEN always delivers.
All right, let's jump in. I brought a joke, but before I tell it, listeners, pay attention. Try to understand why it's funny, then we'll break it down. Here we go. Why don't scientists trust atoms?
Oh, I know this one. Why don't scientists trust atoms?
Because they make up everything.
Yes, classic.
So, listeners, here's why it's funny. The phrase make up has two meanings. If you say atoms make up everything, it means atoms are the basic components that form everything around us. But make up also means to invent something that isn't true. Like when someone says, "You totally made that story up."
Absolutely right. That's a phrasal verb a lot of learners struggle with. Make up can be create, invent, build, or even repair a relationship, like make up after a fight. English is chaotic.
And beautiful. Chaotically beautiful.
Listeners, think about it. How many meanings do you know for one single phrasal verb? It's wild.
All right, Tom, your turn. Hit us with a joke.
All right, what do you call fake spaghetti?
Fake spaghetti?
An impasta.
Oh, come on.
I love this joke so much. So here's why it works. You have imposter, meaning someone pretending to be someone else, and pasta. Combine them and you get impasta.
And this is a great moment to talk about pronunciation. Imposter has that ER at the end, and impasta ends in A. So the joke depends on hearing the difference.
Also, the idea of fake spaghetti is just wonderfully stupid.
I brought another one. Ready? Why did the scarecrow win an award?
Why? I don't know.
Because he was outstanding in his field?
Oh, that one is a masterpiece. Scarecrow means a figure that farmers put in fields to scare birds away from the crops. Usually, it looks like a person made of old clothes and straw.
And here's the explanation. Outstanding means excellent, but outstanding also literally means standing outside. And scarecrows stand in fields, so the joke uses a double meaning of the same word.
That's a good reminder that English loves wordplay. Sometimes the humor is not in the story, but in the language itself.
And learners often miss jokes because they're listening only for vocabulary, meaning not double meaning.
Speaking of double meaning, here is one of the simplest but funniest jokes in English. A horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Why the long face?"
This one is brutal.
Listeners, here's the thing. The expression, long face, is an idiom that means someone looks sad or upset. If you say, "She's got a long face today," it means she doesn't look happy. But horses literally have long faces, as in the physical shape of their heads is long. The joke works because the bartender's question fits both meanings at the same time. He could be asking why the horse looks sad in the idiomatic sense, or why its face is physically long. The humor comes from that perfect overlap between the literal and the figurative meaning.
And this teaches a great lesson. English idioms often sound completely absurd if you imagine them literally. Want another one?
Hit me.
Why was the math book sad?
Why?
Because it had so many problems.
Oh no, ha ha ha.
I know, it's terrible, but the explanation is great. This joke uses the word problems, which has two different meanings. In everyday English, if someone says they have problems, it means they're facing difficulties or things in their life that are going wrong. But in a math book, problems are the exercises or questions you have to solve. So when the joke says the math book is sad because it has so many problems, it mixes the emotional meaning with the school meaning. The humor comes from imagining a math book feeling overwhelmed by all the tasks printed inside it.
Also, this is a good chance to point out a grammar detail. Math book, not maths book. In American English, the subject is math. In British English, it's maths.
Very good detail.
Now I want to bring one that uses cultural context. Ready?
I'm scared, but go on.
Why did the coffee file a police report?
Why? Why did the coffee file a police report? I don't know.
It got mugged.
Listeners, this joke plays with the word mug. The noun mug means a big cup that you use for coffee, but the verb to mug someone means someone attacks you and steals your things in the street. So the joke says the coffee was mugged. That can mean two things at the same time. One, the coffee was put into a mug, a cup. Two, the coffee was attacked and robbed. Obviously, coffee cannot really be attacked, but the double meaning of the word creates the joke.
And this is a reminder that nouns can magically become verbs in English. Mug the object. Mug the action. Same word, different function.
English grammar just wakes up some days and chooses chaos.
Let's do something more conversational. A small riddle-style joke.
Go for it.
What speaks without a mouth and hears without ears, has no body, but comes alive with the wind.
That sounds mysterious. What is it?
An echo.
Oh, listeners, this one is beautiful. Let me explain it so you really get the imagery. An echo is the sound you hear repeating when your voice bounces off a surface, like when you shout in a cave or a big empty room. It speaks because you hear the sound, and it hears because it reacts to what you say, but it has no mouth or ears. And it comes alive with the wind, because echoes are often heard in open spaces like mountains or canyons where sound travels easily through moving air.
This is a cool example of poetic language in English. The riddle uses human actions like speaking and hearing to describe something that isn't a person at all.
And because the answer isn't obvious, it pushes you to think creatively about vocabulary rather than only literally.
So, if you ever hear your voice repeating somewhere, congrats. You just met an echo.
I want to do a grammar-based joke now. Ready?
I'm mentally preparing.
Here comes a grammar joke for you. Why should you never argue with an apostrophe?
Why? An apostrophe.
Because it's too possessive.
Ah, that makes sense.
Listeners, here's the full idea. The word possessive has two meanings. In daily life, if someone is possessive, it means they want to control things or keep everything to themselves. But in grammar, the apostrophe is literally the symbol we use to show possession. For example, when you say, Jessica's notebook or Tom's coffee, that little apostrophe is telling you who the item belongs to.
So the joke works because it pretends the apostrophe has a personality. Since its job is to show possession, we imagine it being too possessive in the emotional sense as well.
So of course it would be too possessive. One word, two meanings. Perfect little grammar joke.
Let's do one about animals because those are always great for learners. Why don't oysters share their pearls?
Tell me.
Because they're shellfish.
A perfect example of pronunciation jokes. Shellfish sounds like selfish. Selfish means not wanting to share. Shellfish are animals like oysters.
And it's a reminder that English humor sometimes depends on tiny pronunciation differences.
Let's ask the listeners something.
Yes, listeners, think about this. Do jokes in your language also use wordplay? Or do they rely more on storytelling?
And do you find English jokes easy or confusing?
I bet half of them are thinking they're confusing. But that's normal. Wordplay only feels natural when you have enough vocabulary to catch the double meaning.
Want a joke that mixes vocabulary and expectations?
I do. Go ahead.
What do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick.
That one gets me every time.
It's funny because a boomerang is supposed to return when you throw it. If it doesn't, then it's just a normal piece of wood.
Also, this teaches the idea of expectations in humor. The setup makes you imagine something complex, but the punchline gives you the simplest possible answer. That contrast is what makes it funny. Speaking of expectations, here's another one. Why can't you give Elsa a balloon?
Why? Why can't you give Elsa a balloon?
Because she will let it go.
Frozen fans screaming in the background.
Listeners, this is a pop culture joke. Let It Go is the famous song from Frozen. And let go also means to release something.
So the joke mixes vocabulary and cultural reference. I want to introduce a joke with a phrasal verb this time.
Go for it.
Why did the bicycle fall over? Because it was too tired.
Oh, wow.
Listeners, tired means needing rest. But two tires refers to the wheels of a bicycle. So too tired sounds like too tired.
This is helpful because two and two sound identical, even though the meanings are unrelated.
And English uses puns like this constantly.
Let's do a quick riddle type. What do you call a fish without eyes?
What? A fish without eyes?
Fish. Do you get it?
Tom, what even is that?
Listeners, here's the trick. The word I sounds the same as the letter I. So if you remove the letter I from the word fish, you literally get fish. When you try to pronounce that, it sounds like fish.
So it's basically a joke about letters, not real fish.
Exactly. It's silly, but it helps you notice how English sometimes plays with sound and spelling at the same time.
And phonetics becomes the joke itself. All right, listeners, let's push you a bit. Here's a joke that depends on vocabulary understanding. What did the 0 say to the 8?
What? What did the 0 say to the 8?
Nice spell.
I love this one.
Listeners, imagine the number 8. It looks like a 0 wearing a belt in the middle. The belt creates that shape.
And just to make it clearer, a belt is the strip of material people wear around their waist to keep their trousers up, or for decoration. Because the number 8 has a narrow part in the center, it almost looks like someone took a 0 and tightened the belt around its middle. That's why the joke works. This teaches that jokes sometimes rely on visuals even in language. I want to do a grammar-based joke again. Ready?
Hit it.
The past, the present, and the future all walked into a bar. It was tense.
Oh, grammar joke fans are screaming right now.
Let me explain it properly. The word tense has two meanings. One meaning is emotional, like when you say someone is tense, meaning they feel stressed or nervous. But tense is also the grammar term we use to talk about time, like the past tense or the present tense.
So the joke imagines the past, present, and future all together in the same place, which creates a chaotic situation.
And because they are literally the three grammatical tenses, the sentence, "it was tense," works in both meanings at the same time.
So the joke mixes emotional meaning and grammar meaning. Let's ask the listeners another question. When you hear jokes in English, do you focus on the story or the vocabulary?
Actually, that's a great point. Most English jokes aren't funny unless you understand the wordplay. So, this is one of the best ways to train vocabulary, through humor.
And humor makes memory stronger. I think we should do a joke that uses an idiom.
Okay, let's hear it.
Why did the golfer bring 2 pairs of pants?
This sounds dangerous already.
In case he got a hole in one.
That's brilliant.
Listeners, here's why it's funny. In golf, a hole in one is when you hit the ball and it goes directly into the hole on the very first shot. It's considered something rare and impressive. But outside of golf, if you say you have a hole in one, it can literally mean that your trousers ripped and now there's a hole in one of the legs.
So the joke combines a special golf expression with the everyday meaning of having torn clothing. The same words, two completely different ideas, and that's where the humor comes from.
Yes, so funny.
I want to introduce one more phrasal verb joke. What happened to the guy who got hit in the head with a soda?
What? Who got hit in the head with a soda?
Nothing. It was a soft drink.
That's so dumb.
I know, but educational. Listeners, here's the idea. The phrase soft drink is the usual term for a non-alcoholic drink like cola or lemonade. But the word soft also means something that isn't hard, meaning it wouldn't hurt much if it hit you. So the joke plays with the double meaning. The person wasn't hurt because it was a soft drink, both in the category sense and in the physical sense.
This episode is full of chaos.
And learning. Before we close, I want to share one last joke. This one teaches a more subtle vocabulary point. Why did the man put his money in the freezer?
I don't know. Why?
He wanted cold, hard cash.
Oh, nice.
Listeners, the expression cold, hard cash is a common phrase that means real, physical money, like coins or banknotes, not digital payments or credit cards. It's used to emphasize the idea of actual, touchable money. But the joke plays with the literal meanings of cold and hard. If you put your money in the freezer, it really would become cold and stiff. So the humor comes from mixing the idiomatic expression with the literal physical description.
Great example of figurative language.
Listeners, did any joke teach you a new meaning of a word you already knew?
Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap some vocabulary and expressions we explored today.
We looked at phrasal verbs like make up, which can mean invent something or create something.
We also saw how English uses double meanings like problems in the math joke or mug in the coffee joke.
And we explore pronunciation tricks with jokes like impasta, shellfish, and even fish, where sound and spelling work together to create humor.
We talked about idioms too, like long face, which means looking sad, even though it can also describe the literal shape of a horse's face.
And don't forget figurative expressions such as cold, hard cash, where the literal meaning and the idiomatic meaning collide in a funny way.
We even touched on grammar terms like tense, which can describe emotions or verb time.
Basically, today's joke showed us how English loves using the same word for multiple meanings, or using similar sounds to create funny twists.
And that's why learning with jokes is powerful. You're not just memorizing words, you're learning how English really behaves.
Listeners, for your final practice, write in the comments one sentence using a new word, idiom, or expression you learned today.
Or share a joke in English and see if you can make us laugh.
We'll be reading them.
Thanks for joining us on StoryOrbitEN. Bye!
See you next time for more fun, more learning, and hopefully more jokes that actually make sense. Bye!